up next will be Florian Wellbrock, the professor. He is everything, including clinical. This will test him, but he's up for the challenge. What a moment ahead of the German. He looks ready for it.
He's always so locked in. There is nothing stopping his gaze from getting in that water and really showing what he can put down.
The men's 10-kilometer marathon swim, a world-class field, a world-class stage, and a race loaded with questions. And they are away. The men's 10-kilometer marathon swim begins here in Singapore. 70 athletes pour into the water, chasing clean water, early position, and their place in history. Alice, we've talked about pressure, but we know how important it is for composure in these opening strokes. Big move here coming through. It is Florian Wellbrock moving forward. Mike out on the boat. We know that Florian likes to swim in his own water, and as you called, Alice, the pace has just come out slightly, and this is where the German loves to sit at the front of the race.
That's exactly the case. Wellbrock now has a very slight lead over Brzozowski, and it's that smooth, easy stroke, that calm demeanor that he brings to his racing. He moved from the inside of the pack to the outside of the pack, just ever so gracefully, and now he's got about a ½ meter lead.
Florian out in front really looks like he's settled into his stroke. He's not trying to move anywhere with urgency. So 2 laps left to swim. Here we have the headshot of Florian Wellbrock. What a resume he has. Mike, I believe there's a bit of a move happening here. The lead group has seemed to open some separation from that chase group.
Who should we be keeping our eyes on as we close out this 5th lap?
Well, it's just watching the Germans now working together. We talked about this earlier when we were wondering, is a move being made that they might be working together? And that's apparently what it's looking like from this perspective.
It's all going to be dictated by the German that leads the race, Florian Wellbrock. If we watch him come through and feed, I think we'll see a number of athletes come and follow his lead. It certainly is warm out there. The sun is shining. Typically a morning sport today, racing under the heat of the Singaporean sun, and the athletes certainly living up to it. As we see Wellbrock, Clement, Paltrineri, Olivier, Carl Philadelli, Adiv, Sloman, Rozovsky, Bethlehem, and Schreiber. At this stage, we can hear the bell, and it is very exciting. 1,600 meters ahead of these athletes, and Mike, you can tell there is an intensity to the way they've approached this last lap.
Look at these 2 swimmers here. Both got such great stroke technique, and as Mike said earlier, just kind of turning on your head what you expect of an open water swimmer.
So as we come down to turn can number 2 for the very last lap, as we get further and further into the race and closer to that finish line, it shifts from being Florian's to win to the pack's to win almost. And at this stage, if no one can get past the feet of the Wellbrock, he will take the gold.
This is a great opportunity for Florian to get information on the rest of the pack. He's going to take this on his right shoulder, and then as he goes round, it's a perfect opportunity to see who is behind him. It's going to be quite difficult because the turn can's quite wide, so he hasn't actually managed to have a look. Florian Wellbrock storming down this final straight, and Paltrineri within his wake, but I just don't think he's going to have enough time to be able to close that gap.
He's got onto the feet and he's moving to the side now, Alice. The commentator's curse. Of course, Wellbrock still has another gear if he needs it. Paltrineri charging through. He just needs to get onto that hip. They've got about 75 meters to swim. The battle for bronze just as interesting. The German leads the way. The 2 champions of the sports, the Olympic champion from Tokyo, the bronze medalist from Tokyo, the gold medalist in Greg from Budapest, the gold medalist from Fukuoka in Wellbrock, and Wellbrock has managed to kick once more. He's going to enter the finish chute here. Germany on top in day 1 of the open water competition. The professor will deliver. Coach Byrne knew the conditions, and he's delivered an exceptional result. German precision will stand on top of the podium here in Sentosa as the Tokyo champion touches in first and claims gold in Singapore. 87 men on the start pontoon and just 5 kilometers to decide a world champion. This race asks everything: poise, patience, and raw pace when it counts most. Who will take the win? Wellbrock leads the favorite. Rozovsky has a lot to prove, and there are a host of competitors all hoping to write their names in the history book. After that tension, we are away here in Singapore. The men's 5 kilometers, and what a shot it is there. Florian Wellbrock moving through now, and no surprises, Wellbrock would not have enjoyed that start of the race, the sort of congestion that's caused, but now he has moved forward, and Mike, he's looking really confident.
Absolutely. Wellbrock took that last turn, as we've called him, the professor. Very clean, very technical, textbook. He continues to look so calm. Of course, he's got more kick that he's going to bring to the equation than he did during the 10K, where he let that kick stay dormant. And as they come around that third turn can, they might have an ability to kind of pick that up. And when you have that experience doing this out in the ocean time and time again, you know how to capitalize that. Let it build, use that momentum, get a little push from it, and that can then, of course, push you into turn 4 in a really good way. But they all came through cleanly, and it's definitely Florian in a sweet position behind Bethlehem right now.
You can see the difference in the 2 athletes at the front. Florian Wellbrock sitting in 2nd for Germany, as we've seen, already adding to that medal tally here in Singapore.
Wellbrock is now starting to move up. Bethlehem's been really carrying the water so far, and now Wellbrock's making his move. You can see from the camera that he has come up side by side with Bethlehem. Paltrineri on the inside of Wellbrock is also matching Wellbrock's speed.
He's not going to want to see anyone come past him, so he's going to keep it on high, but he needs to be able to shut down this threat from Gregorio Paltrineri. In terms of the men's 10K, I feel like Paltrineri probably just ran out of time to put that pressure on Florian in terms of that gold medal. But right now, he has not left any opportunity to run out of time. He is very much on his feet and keeping things close.
Wellbrock that just continues to open this lead, and it's going to take a monumental effort to catch him. Just bringing that kick in once again, but Gregorio is not giving him anything at all. He's pulling as wide as he can, trying to get alongside the German. If he can get onto the feet, into the funnel, it will become interesting. The Italian champion is really making this interesting late in the race. Marc-Antoine Olivier still holding 3rd. And behind him, Marcelo Guidi. But let's take the time now to recognize our champion at the front of the race. He was not afraid of committing early, and he's going to be rewarded with another title here. Florian Wellbrock of Germany is indestructible. He loves these Asian waters, and he's going to add to his 10-kilometer title with a 5-kilometer gold, as Florian Wellbrock, the professor, delivers once more in Singapore. The gold medal goes to Germany. In silver, Gregorio Paltrineri, and Marc-Antoine Olivier rounds out the spectacular podium of open water brilliance. So some big names stand on the starting pontoon, and get ready for this Heat 2 almost underway, and all athletes will be in the water. The technical officials will now have the race in their hand, and what an honor it is to start this historic day for swimming. Well, as you just saw there, the start of Heat 2, the different strategies played out. One of the athletes that has the most experience in this is that man that was just closest to your screen, Ollie Clement. David Bethlehem also near him, and they both decided to go underwater. But Alice, the big mover, is Florian Wellbrock in the center of the screen. He is managing to kick pretty well, though. He's pulling away from David Bethlehem, who leads the race. Marc-Antoine sitting in there behind Florian Wellbrock. On the outside, Nicholas Sloman, Krzysztof Rozowski. So all the big names in Heat 2 also moving through at the moment, and nothing to be of major concern here. As we look a little bit further back, Kenny Gnarkas is one of those athletes that we're going to have to keep an eye on for falling out of the place. But at the moment, Bethlehem looks in control alongside Wellbrock. But Wellbrock is trying to get his own spot.
I mean, well, look at his stroke. He's still trying to keep it cool. He's keeping it calm. I don't think he wants to put in too much effort now, but still kind of wants to get that win.
Yeah.
And, you know, we saw that that method with Ollie Clement the first time round, wanting to get those wins, and, you know, coming up next to David Bethlehem now and giving it a fight for the first position. And Marc-Antoine Olivier, as always, knows what he's doing, tucked in, keeping it safe and making sure he's going to be safely through.
So that is how it's playing down this final straight. Bethlehem is still managing to find a third and fourth wind. I can see that Wellbrock is certainly working harder than he would have liked. He's brought that kick in, and that's usually his tell that he's had to go to some reserves. So Rozovsky's charging through, trying to get on the hip there of Sloman, bottom of your screen. But at the moment, it's Florian Wellbrock that's pulling away. David Bethlehem just trying to swim across to him, get on his hip. That is the move at the front of the screen. Sloman and Marc-Antoine Olivier look very comfortable, and Rozovsky also just swimming through to the end at this point. Behind them, I think Ollie Clement's going to be in a spot of bother, but he is used to it. Luca Karl, I think, of Austria, just sitting in behind Sloman. But we keep an eye on the front of the race. Florian Wellbrock will be the first athlete across, potentially. David Bethlehem with a late charge. Can he get over the top? This spot will determine the first on the platform, and Wellbrock is precise once more.
Florian Wellbrock just strolled out of the water there. Did you see that? He just, within seconds, was out of the water, walking over and looking to get his recovery in. This is what it's about. This is what, you know, you keep yourself calm, you get yourself over there, you cool down. He's locked in on what he needs to do.
I can't help but think about how we're going to get to 10 from here.
Right? Like, so 10 have to lose out. Those are the rules. That's how it's going to work. But I mean, they're going to be a very stacked 10 that do eventually lose out. And, you know, you can see the Hungarian team here keeping David Bethlehem out of the sun, wanting to get him as cool as possible. Florian Wellbrock sat next to him, taking a look down the line, seeing what his other competitors are doing, but very much focused on himself still.
It was a very deliberate move there by Florian. Coming down that straight, he wanted to be on the touch first. The reason for that, Alice, of course, being that the first in Heat 2 gets to pick wherever they want on the starting pontoon. So Wellbrock wanting to avoid what he had in the Heat 2, where he started next to Krzysztof Rozovsky. So a deliberate move down that final straight, and I guess we'll see how it plays out. Now we meet the athletes for semi-final. Florian Wellbrock, the one through the fastest. He picks where he wants. We'll keep an eye on that, Alice, as we meet Matteo Diodato and David Bethlehem. Here we go. Get welcome to the semi-final of the men's 3-kilometer knockout. We'll see the winner in 11 minutes' time. Underway, Clement, Schreiber, and Bethlehem. You see Bethlehem going for the underwater there, as well as Schreiber, but that was a great reaction from Thomas Raymond. He jumped straight on the hip of Bethlehem, and you know what this has done, Alice, is it's opened the door for Florian Wellbrock.
As I always say with open water, it's about playing to your strengths, and that's what we're seeing Florian Wellbrock do now, and it's also what we see David Bethlehem do with that take your marks, go, start.
The lead of the race, though, sits with Florian Wellbrock. Mike Lewis still out on the boat as we get ready for this first turn. The conditions have changed even further, but Florian looking like he's up for them.
Absolutely. He's definitely up for him, as we talked about before. The way that he can bring that long, front-loaded freestyle into these definitely choppy open water conditions is truly amazing, and he's doing so with a lot of efficiency, still conserving those legs. We've seen that in both the 5 and the 10K.
We just got a great overhead shot of all of our athletes battling through. Kristen Schreiber is currently sitting in 20th, but Alice Schreiber is electric over that final 1500. He's really fast in the pool, so potentially that's an athlete to note for as we get down that final straight. All of those athletes sitting between the 12th to 18th range, they're going to have a really big effort trying to get into that top 10.
Yes, definitely. You know, the slightly fortunate thing about sitting further back is that you're going to have bodies to move past. So, you know, you can get that energy off of them, get your adrenaline going, and then move past them. But obviously it is challenging because everybody has the same idea. Everybody wants to be in that top 10. You can see David Bethlehem now trying to move up onto the hip of Florian Wellbrock, but I think Florian will probably just keep pushing a little bit further out and allow himself to have that space. And he's obviously spotted David Bethlehem and what he's trying to do.
Well, Bethlehem trying to get the inside line. Mike, you're out on the water. You're about 100 meters from this turn. How does Bethlehem look in comparison to Wellbrock?
Well, we're swinging a little bit outside with this pack, so Bethlehem does, but now he's not catching that, so he's sliding actually as I'm speaking right behind Florian. So it's not going to be an advantage. He'll be able to capitalize. But it's ever so slight. We're going to be turning in, and Wellbrock just puts a little bit more kick in, wants to control it. As Alice said, he likes that clean water. He doesn't want to be jostling with anybody. But you can see right now, as I look back, it's going to be in this 5 and beyond. You can see that energy right there, and it is going to be incredible because these next 2 turns are really going to tell us a lot.
That is exactly how it's playing out here. We got this incredible shot of our lead swimmer in Florian Wellbrock coming down to take the turn in first, sitting behind David Bethlehem. Still has a good line into that turn. Alice, one athlete we want to note here, the Frenchman in Logan Fontaine is one to watch. The first race at these World Championships, and he is charging through the field. Great turn there by Kinignakis. He's moved up in the mix.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And just on Logan Fontaine, before we move back to Kinignakis, he is a formidable racer, you know. Like, we talk about that fighter stance, got that dog in him. He is another one of those athletes. But Florian has just been allowed his own space again. And yes, you're right, great turn for Kinignakis. He looked like he was in a little bit of danger, but really been able to, like, propel himself back into contention. And hopefully he can get another good turn here and really allow his speed to fly down this final straight.
We go back out to the water and we get ready for the final turn of the semi-final. Mike, who's jostling for that inside line? What are they expecting as we get ready for this final turn?
Well, Ivan Puskovich from the U.S. is right along with the group and wants to fight for that 10, but it's going to be a matter of, is he going to be able to make it through without getting pinched? So that's very curious, but it remains Florian who's going to have a clean move through. It's going to be Bethlehem behind him, and then the 2 Frenchmen side by side, Paltrineri on the outside, and then, of course, we're going to be seeing the rest of the pack just fighting for those final positions.
We'll see how this plays out down the final straight, Alice. It's where open water swimming really comes into its own. It's a true race in every essence of the word. Florian Wellbrock leads David Bethlehem, but there's chaos behind.
Oh, definitely. You know, Florian's stroking it out, looking really smooth, looking strong, got a good stroke rate, his legs are going. But yeah, you see David Bethlehem behind him kind of leading the chase in that field. And you have so many people. I think I can see Gregorio Paltrineri really starting to make his move now. He's been tucked away, keeping it safe. And you've got the 2 Frenchwomen in Logan Fontaine and Marc-Antoine Olivier. And then on the outside of that is Gregorio Paltrineri. But, you know, so many good athletes. And Paltrineri seems to be going a bit wide here.
There was 16 athletes in that overhead shot as we came down this finish straight. Only 10 will make it through to the final. It looks like Thomas Raymond of Australia has got the best feet here of Florian Wellbrock. Wellbrock wants to take the victory here. He knows that there's only 50 meters from the start of the final to the first turn, and the position on the pontoon is going to be essential to taking the victory. Bethlehem also knows this and is fighting with every effort he can down this straight. Raymond behind, just trying to hang in there. Behind them, Marc-Antoine Olivier, and as you called, Alice, going very wide is Gregorio Paltrineri. In behind him, Matteo Diodato, and as well Krzysztof Rozovsky charging down the final finish. Rozovsky, of course, a European champion over this distance. He's going to have a lot to say should he qualify for the final. In this shot here, 17 athletes. Are you kidding me? This is why this event is going to change the sport. Every time they dive in, it's a race, and we get to see that race come to fruition once more in the semi-final. Looking across the field, it is Florian Wellbrock leading David Bethlehem. In a battle for third now, Thomas Raymond, Marc-Antoine Olivier, Logan Fontaine sits behind. Gregorio Paltrineri has pulled away from Krzysztof Rozovsky. Rozovsky now in a battle with Sloman. Martin Straka in there for Czechia, and a number of other athletes, including Eric Brown, all in the mix for this final. Florian Wellbrock now in the finish arch, and coming with him is David Bethlehem. Bethlehem ready to launch on that touch. Does he want to win, or does the professor want to take out the semi-final? I think it will go to the German, and it does. Clinical once more from Florian Wellbrock. We look through this finish line now, and there is a flurry of finishers. Wellbrock, no need to worry. He's ready to race.
Sat there ready, and you know what? We're sat in a position where we haven't seen anybody beat Wellbrock this championships. We haven't. In every opportunity he's won.
But we're moments away from meeting these athletes, Alice, and it's hard to go past Wellbrock. He's yet to be beaten, as you mentioned.
Yeah, we haven't seen anybody out-touch him in a race at this championship. So, I mean, if statistics are anything to go by, he's the one to beat.
Ichika Kajimoto was not on our list at all in the women's final, and everyone is going to have a target on Florian Wellbrock, and we know that because we've got athletes like Logan Fontaine. They are match racers, they are built to race, and let's have a look at exactly what we will be undertaking here. It's a 3-kilometer knockout. This is the final 500-meter sprint. Only 3 turns, 50 meters to turn 1. Then we burn through a 250-meter turn from turn 3 into the final, and we will be crowning a world champion, potentially for the first time or potentially for the 8th time. That's what's at stake here, Alice. Potential to have the most decorated open water swimmer at the World Championships wearing number 44.
Wow. Really, really historic moment. And you just see Florian and David Bethlehem give each other a little fist bump. I love that respect amongst the athletes. See Logan Fontaine walk down now. He's definitely one of our ones to watch of how his tactics play out and what it does for the race.
Well, what's interesting here is I think Logan wanted to be next to Florian. Ivan Puskovic now being introduced in the final. What a moment for the young American. One thing that I'm going to be interested to watch in this opening 50, Bethlehem has the inside into the turn. I think Florian's going to give him the lead. He's going to let the Hungarian take a lot of the early momentum and then on that back straight, charge through. And they're only 500 meters away from being crowned a world champion. Ladies and gentlemen, this is history. Do not turn off your TVs and get ready to watch a race.
Take your marks.
And the race is underway. Watch on the left of your screen. There is the underwater of David Bethlehem in the middle of the pool as well. Not even a pool, in the middle of the ocean. What a start it was from Marc-Antoine Olivier.
Yeah, they're all looking away, getting clean. You see Krzysztof Rozowski on the outside, gunning for it. He knows he needs to get to the buoy as soon as possible to be in clean water and give himself an opportunity.
And we look at Rozowski. He is the absolute kryptonite of Florian Wellbrock. That big man that he is just puts the physicality, and he knows that that's the race. If he can get onto the hip here of Wellbrock, he's involved. And then we bring in the world champ, the Olympic champ, with an opportunity to really create some damage. But as we see there, and Mike out on the water, Florian through first and looking sensational at the front.
Yeah, that's the fight you have to fight right there off the start. You have to get to that buoy to get to clean. And now Florian's got it, and you can see him. He is just down-regulated that kick ever so slightly, but he is holding water amazing, and he just continues to pull away. Bethlehem, so cool to see him actually bend over as though he was on a starting block to execute that start where he has that 20-meter underwater in that second position. So this is truly amazing as these guys are pushing off in this 500 meters.
So Alice, we've seen Wellbrock in this position time and time again as we go through this field. What does these athletes need to do to get up alongside the big German? What does Bethlehem have to do to make sure that he's in contention for gold?
You have to stay resilient. I think that's the word that really, really needs to keep these athletes going. So Florian just knows and has an answer every time. Every time someone tries to pull up next to him, he has an answer. And it can be really, really discouraging in those moments when you've put in so much effort to build up, to get onto his hip, and then all of a sudden you're back at his feet. So stay resilient, stay strong, and keep charging him down with every stroke.
Well, he also needs that inside line, which is what Bethlehem's chasing here, Mike. We come to this far end turn, and Bethlehem is trying to get on the inside of Wellbrock.
Yeah, definitely wants to try to get that inside line, but Wellbrock is just too clean, too far in front. And once again, plays that thing clear. Bethlehem just fighting, but we're seeing more kick now from Florian as he makes a push towards the final turn buoy. And it's Olivier in that third position. These three are now starting to differentiate themselves from the rest of the pack.
Yeah, that's a big turn there from Rozovsky. He's dropped contact with Marc-Antoine Olivier, and what this race needs, Alice, is physicality. You need to have a presence in the race. We saw it with Gosei and Johnson in the women's race. As soon as that physicality came in, the race opened up.
Yeah, you're so right. But I mean, that is a clean break there now, isn't it? You know, you've got first, second, and third. It's going to be so hard to chase that down. And, you know, you can see what David Bethlehem wants to do. You can see he wants to get up next to Florian. But look at Florian's leg kick. I think this is the most I've ever seen him kick. He's really, really going for it. But David Bethlehem looks like he might be taking out stroke.
Bethlehem really trying to angle on that turn can there, Mike. This is the race right now. If Florian can get through uninhabited, he will take the gold.
And that's exactly what's happening. He's going to come through this thing once again nice and clear, has even a little better advantage than he had. That last one, Florian clears that really nice. Here comes the kick that we've been expecting. Bethlehem fighting ever so hard, trying to get in that pocket. If he can get that pocket, of course, he's got that advantage. And Olivier right there with him, and that group of three is now pulling away from the rest of the pack.
Yeah, this is not what Marc-Antoine would have wanted. Some separation between Bethlehem and Florian Wellbrock. Now the great Frenchman is going to have to move forward 2 positions to be in contesting that gold medal. But Alice, as you mentioned, I've never seen a kick like this from Florian Wellbrock.
I mean, every time he always has an answer. He's always got something new to give us. So we saw in the 5K, he'd had to work so hard to keep that door shut, but he managed to do so. And now look at him again. He's created even more separation from David Bethlehem. And David Bethlehem is a very, very, very fast swimmer. So Florian just keeps making this longer and keeps dragging it out.
Bethlehem now desperately trying to get onto the hip of Wellbrock, but as you said, every time he has an answer, Bethlehem pulls wide. Florian pulls inside the course. They come back together. Marc-Antoine Olivier fighting as hard as he can to get on the feet of the German. If he can get there, he can create a race. At this point, there is absolutely no stopping the great German, the professor, out in front, but Bethlehem is not losing. He's not losing hope. He's charging home through this finish. Wellbrock leads the race. Bethlehem on his side. Marc-Antoine Olivier coming on the outside of Bethlehem. There is nothing splitting them. It's going to come down to who has a better line. Bethlehem is well lined up, but Wellbrock continues to find an answer. This could be his 8th gold medal, the most decorated open water swimmer at the World Championships. That's what's on the line here for Florian Wellbrock. He's about 50 meters from making that a reality, and Bethlehem continues to kick. He continues to drive forward. He's on the feet of Wellbrock, but Wellbrock answers again and again and again. He's going to come down now. The finish arch is just ahead of him. The 8th gold medal is just ahead of him. Florian Wellbrock, you are incredible. You are the man to take the first ever title. And what a title to take. The 3-kilometer title is in Germany through Florian Wellbrock. In second, it is David Bethlehem. And third goes to Marc-Antoine Olivier. An incredible podium, an incredible race, and an incredible swimmer. Florian Wellbrock, the most decorated open water athlete at the World Championships in the history of the sport.
He starved the race out, he dragged it out, he got up front and he made it happen, and you know, he's back on top of the world.
The gold medal goes to Florian Wellbrock, who completes the double as he did in Fukuoka. The gold medal returns to where it belongs with Florian Wellbrock as he walks out. He's so confident in these championships. He's just really well built for this moment. The second time he's won the 5 kilometers and 10 kilometers at the same championships, and he's also won the 3-kilometer knockout. incredible moment for Florian Wellbrock, his third gold medal of these championships, and he still looks so proud standing atop of the podium, as he should.